We'll do this. Good evening, everybody out there on YouTube. Welcome. Welcome to another Wednesday night episode of Outlaw Radio. I am, of course, your host, the Outlaw tonight, who I'm still having a good time trying to figure out how this StreamYard thing works. Let's do one of these. And hi, how are we doing? Welcome to the party, everybody. I hope the music's doing okay. I hope everyone that's out there is having a good old time so far. Let me get the music turned all the way down here, and there we go. Good evening, everybody. It is a Wednesday night. It is 10 p.m. Central Time. I am the Outlaw Adam Knight. I hope you're all able to hear me okay. Yes, I know people out there are going to say, hey, we want to have the audio figured out again, and I appreciate that. Got a little noise going on behind me. I need to soundproof this whole area and get it sorted out. And I have another microphone here that I'm going to get set up this week. So here's hoping the next time you see me, we're going to be good to go. If you're new here, hi, I'm the Outlaw Adam Knight. I'm a professional wrestler and a self-published author. I've been a wrestler since 1995. So that is, yes, 3 decades in the professional wrestling business. I am based out of Central Canada, specifically Winnipeg, Manitoba. And during that time, I've had an opportunity to travel across the majority of this country through the United States and had a couple of cups of coffee in Japan along the way. As a result of that, I'm into a whole lot of different things here. I've got lots of different opinions, obviously, on the wrestling industry, on pop culture, on the literary side of the world, and a bunch of other things as well. And oftentimes, I find I end up talking about men's mental health and other things that are going on in the world. So that's really bright in my eye. I'm going to move that a little bit. There we go. Anyways, tonight's episode was suggested to me as a topic by my good friend, Mr. Todd Bullitt, who is a veteran of some status even greater than mine, who wanted me to talk about, seeing as the fact that AEW was just recently in Winnipeg, and there were a bunch of people that got booked as extras on the show. Seeing as I've been in that position before, he wanted me to talk about that. And we're going to get into that right away. But before we do, a little bit of business I want to take care of right away. Obviously, I'm a professional wrestler and have been for the last 30 years. So as a result of that, I do have merchandise. And let me get rid of this stuff here so you can see, yes, you can get the official Outlaw Adam Knight t-shirt. This is available, of course, at GreatWhiteNorthProductions.com. Or, of course, you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Outlaw. You can grab one of those there. You can also get my Lucasfilm inspired only and not anything else, Outlaw Rides Again t-shirt. I've got multiple different styles and multiple different options on there as well for you to check out. If you're into more than just wrestling and you're into a little bit more of literary stuff, I do want to recommend you check out my book series. I've got a series of books that are urban fantasy titles. I've got, they are called, the book series is called Overdrive. It's about a nightclub bouncer named Joe who finds himself in some specific situations, some challenges along the way. And he is doing his very best to manage the changes in his body and his life and try to do some good for the first time in his life as he helps the people in the city around him. And that's that for that. Those books are available exclusively on Amazon at this moment in time. I will have them in person at any events I've got coming up. But if you want to go to Amazon.com, check in, punch in my name or the series of books that you see right here. You can find them on Kindle, paperback, or hardcover. But speaking of events coming up, the next event for my hometown office here in Winnipeg for Blaze Pro Wrestling is, of course, Anarchy in April 2, April 24th, 2026 at the St. Louis Center here in Winnipeg. Next week's show here on Outlaw Radio, I'll be diving a little bit deeper into the matches that are going to be taking place on that card. But I will say right now that the best goddamn heavyweight champion in Canada, this guy, will be taking part in that, and he will be doing his best to defend that title and his stature as the best damn heavyweight champion in Canada. Thank you all for being here tonight, whatever platform you are. And let me take a look. I've got some comments waiting in the queue right now. Billy Yes, the books will be available in audio as well. Thank you, Billy, for joining in. And yes, grab yourself as many Outlaw shirts as you can. Vulcan Nerd, welcome to the party. Thank you for being here, my friend. Hope you're all doing okay today. Hope we can all be there for Ken's stream tomorrow. And if Ken's online right now, send him my way and we can chit-chat. It's all good. So let's get to the topic at hand. And so if I miss anything here in the comments, I want you to know it's not personal. I just want to, be able to think about this as clearly as possible. And again, if anybody is having trouble hearing me, leave a note in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So, but before we get started, not a sponsor, just, a little bit of liquid courage. Got me have a sugar-free rock star to get me going through the day. So, the topic tonight, again, inspired by Mr. Todd Bullitt, was of course, how does one get booked for events as a TV extra? Because that is really the challenge these days. And it is, I really wanted to talk about this after the idea was presented to me, because it's changed a lot. Again, I had started wrestling in 1995. The concept of just trying to get booked in other territories was a hard thing. Never mind trying to get the WWF then, or WCW, or anybody, in Puerto Rico or overseas to take a look at you. It was a bear, and it still is. You're clear this week? Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Vulcan Nerd. I'm just trying to eat the mic right now. Again, I've got a brand new mic. I'm going to be plugging in later the next couple of days. Anyways, so let me just tell you my story. I was about 8 years in before I first seriously tried getting booked in places other than just local promotions. And by that I mean like local to Winnipeg or the Prairies or out in Alberta. Those were all fairly easy to get booked on simply just by being around long enough, making good connections, and then being put in touch with the right people. Now, from 95 till about 2005, email was just starting to be a thing. And so you had to go out of your way to try to actually find contacts with these people. And I mean telephone contacts and actual mailing addresses for you to get things done. So trying to reach out to offices and companies to try to get them to take a chance, that was a real bear. But what usually ended up happening, and this is going to be a regular recurring theme for this, it ended up being more and more and more about getting a recommendation from somebody who was already there. Reputation and respect in the professional wrestling industry is worth more than it is in just about any other industry that I've noticed. And as a result of that, you have to, it is very true that the number of people you meet on the way up are the same people you're going to meet on the way down. So at any stage of your career, it's very, very, very important for you to be respectful, be hardworking, be safe, and be able to, have a good rapport with them. Because the only way, especially back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you were going to get booked anywhere else, was if you were good to work with. And let me tell you right now, and I keep saying this to the trainees, and I said this on the Shooting the Shit Blaze Pro Wrestling podcast over the weekend, it's so much about your reputation. It's so much about being a good person to work with. And man, that's a lesson for life, no matter what industry you're in. So I'll tell a quick story about how in 2004, I got booked for the last set of WWE TV tapings that took place in Winnipeg, in the old Winnipeg Arena. Yes, the same arena that I used to watch Nick Bockwinkel and the Crusher and Kurt Hennig and all of the guys in the AWA back when I was a young lad wrestle in. So these are the last two major wrestling events that happened in the old Winnipeg Arena before it got torn down a couple years later. I knew about 4 months out that the WWE was coming to town, and they were going to be doing a double taping of Raw and SmackDown. And I'd had friends that either had been booked regularly because, like my good friend at Wavell Star, had been a regular as Standing Thunder in Ohio Valley Wrestling, their farm league for a while there, for the farm territory, Wavell. I'd known some people that and made some waves and tried to get booked on there before. And really, there was no secret method, and I didn't have any real strong contacts of anyone who was just going to open the door for me. But I knew that my best chance of getting seen as, at the time, a 6.5 foot, 260 pound fella was to be seen in person, right? Now, the only way I could do that I knew of was to find the address online, and Google was a thing, but it was not the greatest thing in the entire world then. But I Googled WWE headquarters, Stamford, Connecticut, and I got their mailing address. I triple checked up and down who the person in talent relations was going to be, and the best person I found there was Dr. Tom Pritchard, who, for anybody who's unfamiliar, is a tremendous wrestler, One half of the Heavenly Bodies was a tremendous wrestler in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, a major star in the and a mid card guy who worked for WWE for a long, long time. Tremendous talent, tremendous gentleman. So what I did was, believe it or not, I went to Staples. I took some of my promo pics. I had them printed off, all glossy, along with a resume, which was pretty thin, if I'm going to admit, but it listed my stats, who I was, where I was from, who had trained me, who were some notable people that I'd worked with, and some recommendations. And those recommendations were like one sentence, like, yes, I know him, and yes, he's fine. Right. And then I swear to God, I took a VHS tape and I labeled it much more nicely than with the pen that I'm using on here. My name, my telephone number, and where I was located. And I sent that package in the mail to Stamford, Connecticut. And I did that 4 months out from the event. And then I did the only thing I knew what to do. I found the right number to call WWE headquarters in Stamford. And I made sure every Monday, from the week after I'd sent that package in, I called, I asked for talent relations, and I left a voicemail for Dr. Tom Pritchard. Hi there, it's Adam Wright from Winnipeg. Really interested in getting a look, possibly, if you need any extra talent, for the Raw and SmackDown tapings happening in Winnipeg at such and such a date. I believe my package is in the mail. If you guys have it, please let me know. Thank you very much. Here's my phone number. I did that every week for 6 weeks. And let me tell you, you never feel like a bigger idiot than when you're cold calling WWE and trying to get them to pay attention to you. But it was my only option at the time for trying to, maybe get seen by a bigger company. I'd been trying to get booked overseas. I'd been trying to get booked in Europe, and I was trying to get booked in Japan. But at the time, I had great cred in Central Canada. I had great cred in the Midwestern United States, but not the kind of cred that was going to get me anywhere else. And so, realistically speaking, in North America, WWE was my only option at the time. Ring of Honor just started up, but it wasn't really an option for me, that's for sure. Loserbolt, thank you for being here. JMB, Vulcan Nerd, thank you guys for being here this time and for checking it on out. So, anyways, 6 weeks of that, finally Dr. Tom Pritchard picks up the phone when I called. And I tried not to panic. I tried to keep my professional voice. I tried to be calm, tried to be cool. To his credit, I think he just picked up the phone because he saw my number, saw that I'd called every week for the last 6 weeks, and just wanted me to stop calling him. Got me on the phone. We chatted politely for a few minutes. He made sure that he had my package. He was kind enough to open it up in front of me while I was on the phone with him. Or we didn't have voicemail. Obviously, we didn't have FaceTime, but I could hear him opening up the package. Took a look at my pictures. Took a look at some of my contacts and references. And he put the VHS tape in the machine while I was on the phone with him. And that was a sweaty, clenchy of the sphincter couple of minutes, I tell you. As I knew he was one of the guys who was probably the best in-ring guy in the company at the time, who'd helped train a lot of guys, was going to take a look at my work. I was a little nervous. He watched my tape for about 90 seconds. Thankfully, I'd put like a highlight reel right off the top, reel-to-reel tape cutting. I'd use an old version of Final Cut Pro, as I recall. And he asked me 2 questions. You live in Winnipeg, son? Yes, sir, I do. How tall are you again? 6'4.5", sir. All right. I'll let you know. And that was it. That was my whole session. I gave it 2 weeks. I didn't hear anything back. When we got about a month out from the tapings in Winnipeg, I ventured one more call just to check in. And I didn't get an answer, so I left another voicemail. Said, thank you for the opportunity. Whatever happens, happens. And God bless him, about a half hour later, he called me back, gave me a heads up and said, yep, Adam Wright, we'll have you backstage. Here's your contact guy. Here's who you got to meet. Make sure you show up wearing a suit and be presentably ready to go. Man. I did everything I could in my office job working at a local television station at that time as a production assistant and as a marketing producer Do not shit my pants. It was crazy. It was a good time, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, so this is 2004, 2005, probably 2004. What I remember most about that day was getting to the old Winnipeg Arena, being allowed to park in the talent parking region, walking by all the trucks with my gear bag in hand, trying to look as calm and as cool as possible in my suit that no longer really fit me very well because I'd lost a bunch of weight. Yes, I know I'm roundy faced now, but I was down to about 250 pounds at the time. I was as lean as I could possibly be while still trying to maintain some muscle mass. It's a young guy. I was probably 27, 28 years old, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I get there. I get through security. I get welcome to the back. And I am doing my very best to keep my shit together as I'm hanging out backstage, being introduced to the crew, being introduced to the talent, getting hang out at catering. I remember very distinctly going to the extras table, the jobber table. Thank Christ, my good buddy Wavell Star was there. He helped me keep my game face on, or actually told me right to my face, dude, you got to chill, get your game face together. God bless you, Wavell. I appreciate you for that. And I remember sitting down. Who was at that table? Sarah Stock was with me, who's now working as an agent for WWE. Carlito was at that table. He'd yet to make his debut in the main roster. Wavell, of course. And a couple of other local guys, one from BC and two from Ontario. Gentlemen, I don't remember your names. I'm very sorry. It was a very small crew of extras. It was a very, very small crew of extras. I was the only guy from Winnipeg. Oh, not including Sarah. Sarah, of course, is from Winnipeg as well, but I was the only gentleman from Winnipeg. When the time came, we were all told to get in our gear, our workout gear, and go to the ring. Where we were very intimidated by the fact that half the guys that were on the roster were sitting around ringside and BSing, talking about their segments for that night, and ostensibly judging us as we were getting in there and being asked to lock up and roll around and, show the basics of what we could do, as they were trying to determine who was going to get the dark matches on Velocity or whatever that night. Now, I held out hope, but I took a look at the jacked dudes all around me, and I realized in my skinny fat phase, I probably didn't have much hope. I remember locking up with Carlita, doing some basic chain, rolling around a little bit, when Lord Steven Regal interrupted the process, pulled me aside, and my heart sank, because I knew that if I was being pulled out of the ring, it was because somebody had seen enough of me. To his credit, Lord Regal proceeded to give me 90 minutes of his time to show me some finer technique points that I use to this day when I train and when I wrestle. Some very fine tuned stuff that I'd never been shown before. And that's no disrespect to Royce, Jewel, or Nevada, or any of the guys who'd helped train me to that point. We were talking about, learning from an absolute expert and master of the craft. I learned more about facial expressions, footwork, hand placement, how to lock up, how to make little things matter in a headlock, just in 90 minutes, just locking up with him at ringside, than I probably did the previous 9 years and maybe for the next 9 after that. Rest of my experience the next day and a half was pretty standard. I was invited back the next day. I got to watch the events backstage. I was not asked to be, well, I didn't get the chance to do any TV stuff. Wavell got the chance to be the dark match both nights, and bless you for it, sir. You did a great job. But I got to be there. I got to be part of the shows. I got to witness how TV was done. I got to witness the tapings. I got to meet everybody that was there, shake a lot of hands. I got to learn firsthand how to be professional and how not to be professional from some of those fine men and women. And it was... honest to God, I don't know what to say about it other than it was tremendous. It blew my young little mind. And even though I was a 9-year veteran at that point in time, I was still green as shit when it came to actually being a professional wrestler. But that's what it was like trying to get booked to be an extra in 2004, 2005. That was pretty crazy. But I will say, in order to answer the question that, Mr. Todd Bullitt asked me about the other day, what it's like getting booked now. The process has changed somewhat, but it's not necessarily any different other than in practice. I'd had an opportunity to be booked as an extra a couple of times since then. The last time I got booked as a WWE extra was when they were in Winnipeg once again, right before the pandemic hit, so February of 2020. That process was very simple. I reached out, found out who was the contact person who was booking the extras. It was I don't believe it's him anymore, but even still, I don't want to say whom it was, but if you know, you know. It was a member of the referee crew. Anyways, got his email, reached out to him directly. He got back to me within 48 hours. Obviously, like my stats, I had a much better, more complete resume at that point in time. By then, of course, by 2020, I'd been to Japan a few times. I had good references, good matches. I had much better tape. I was able to send him a whole bunch of YouTube links, be able to take a quick look at what I could or could not do. Got booked off of that, no trouble. Had to go get blood work done. That was a new thing, but 2020, it kind of made sense given health risks and all that other stuff. Very similar process. Went down to the Canada Life Center, showed up, met the people that were there. Quite a few more extras at that point in time. Was asked to get in my gear. Didn't end up getting a chance to roll around before TV. I don't remember them actually using any locals for any extra work in a match. But all of us got a chance at that point in time to be not a Rosebud. Who was it? Oh, it was No Way Jose and his party crew. So I got to be on WWE TV for about 20 seconds as somebody in an ugly fluorescent shirt doing a conga line down to the ring and cheering on our guy before he got his ass beat by Shelton Benjamin. Fun times, though. Fun times. But the process is pretty much the same. Have good references. Know the person to reach out to. Reach out to them. And be persistent and polite. I will say the difference between 2004 and 2020 WWE being backstage, way more streamlined, way more people, and a lot more corporate. I saw way more suits and ties in 2020 than I did in 2004. That's for darn sure. And the production value is absolutely ridiculous. That giant screen, watching them put it together and take it apart in hours was unbelievable. My last two attempts working as an extra both were for All Elite Wrestling, and that was in 2023. Getting to work the first Dynamite in Winnipeg was fantastic. But again, the process is very much the same. You find the person to speak to. I have an advantage also because I know some of the people that work in the office at AEW. But you try not to take advantage of those contacts unless you have to. I went through the proper channels. I spoke to the right person. I made a good contact. My reference and my resume were in good shape. My links were in good shape. And I had a chance to get backstage and was invited to be there. And I'm glad I was. The setup for AEW is a little different. I quite like how they've got it done. They definitely have fewer people doing way more jobs. But I love how streamlined they've got it now because they're so used to having new people every week show up. You get backstage, it's like, everything is so well laid out signage wise. You know where you have to be to go get your pictures taken. You know where you have to be in order to, be checked out by the doctors in case you need to get that done. Name telling have to go one way. If you're just an extra, you get your day passes and all that other stuff. They're very, very good about speaking with everybody and having it very well coordinated and organized. Though getting the chance to hang out with Dr. Luther as he aged in my match with Jake Hager on AEW Dark. That was kind of dope. The guy that I had a chance to work with a whole lot back in the late 90s for Don Callis and Tony Condello. To meet him again 20 years later, have him pull me aside and say, hey, I want you to work with Big Jake. We're going to make it happen. Man. In a long career where you're wondering why you keep doing things and why you keep taking these risks and keep taking these bumps and keep taking these chances, to finally have a chance at that point in time, 28 years in, to wrestle in front of the main arena in my hometown, in front of thousands and thousands of people, for one of the two major companies in the world, and have it be broadcast internationally on YouTube. Well, YouTube is pretty dope. It's pretty cool. It's a moment I wish my dad had been there for. Anyways. The process is very cool. But again, the changes between now and the early 2000s all come down to the same thing. Are you a good person? Are you easy to work with? Do you have good references? And do you have enough footage for you to get past the first foot in the door? After that, show up, be pleasant, be presentable, be available for whatever they need, and don't be a dick. The number of people I watch backstage at either WWE or AEW events being difficult, you're not owed anything. They're doing you a huge solid just having you there at their multi-million-dollar production. Show up, be grateful, do what's asked of you, do it well, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be asked back. I wasn't asked back after 2023. That's understandable. I'm a giant gray-haired old man. The wrestling industry's for the young, and that's fine. My time's not up yet. I still got a long way to go. Like I said, I'm still the best goddamn heavyweight champion in Canada. And you can tell that as I defend my title as the Blaze Pro Wrestling Canadian Champion next Friday, April 24th, here in Winnipeg, as I take on Ohio Valley Wrestling's Eric Darkstorm. That giant man is coming into town, and he's going to take a hell of a beating as he tries to take that title from me. And I can't wait to deliver that beating to him. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Todd Bullitt, specifically for giving me this topic to work on. I appreciate all of you for being here. I appreciate everyone for commenting here in the thread. Everyone here watching or on TikTok as well. It means the world to me that you all show up each and every week. I hope you enjoy this process. I really enjoy doing it. And I just want to thank you all. This is a lot of fun. I've been doing OUTLAW Radio now for 23 weeks, 24 if you include episode 0. So it's almost half a year. I'm going to try to get this spread out a little bit. Thank you very much, Vulcan Nerd, for being here. Thank you all for being here tonight. I want to expand this out, so please do me a favor. Check the links in the video. Please consider taking a look at my books, my t-shirts, everything there in the description. Please consider joining my Patreon page. I've got a free tier. I'd love it if you all would just show up and, join in that regard. Help me grow that audience. I would really like to do more of this stuff going forward. I mean, day jobs are nice and all, but if I could do this with you and with others, that would be pretty great. Thank you all for your time tonight. Bless you all, and thanks for watching. Much love.